The story unfolds in Noryanjan, a city bustling with young souls yearning to study and chase their dreams. However, beneath its surface lies a harsh reality, turning this seemingly promising place into a living nightmare for the youth. The pressure to excel in their studies weighs heavily on them, leaving no room for leisure or respite, lest they face elimination. Within a quaint mini-market, a bespectacled young man named In-sung diligently tends to his female customers with unwavering warmth. However, his friendly demeanor unintentionally unsettles one of the women, causing her discomfort. Moreover, he possesses an uncanny ability to provide intricate details about the products, leaving no stone unturned. Unfortunately, his boss, a formidable and miserly figure, berates him in front of the customers for his conduct. While the boss reprimands him, In-sung's mind wanders into a realm of imagination, where wealth empowers him to deliver a satisfying blow to his boss, making his nose bleed. But in reality, his boss twists his neck mercilessly, leaving In-sung gasping for breath. Seeking solace and an outlet for his frustration, In-sung seeks refuge in a nearby park, where he unleashes a torrent of curses. Gradually calming himself, he checks the announcement for the results of the police selection exam, eagerly hoping for a positive outcome. Unfortunately, his registration number is absent from the list of successful candidates. The weight of disappointment bears down heavily on him, causing his spirit to plummet. In a poignant moment, Jae-seop, a fellow young man, arrives at In-sung's modest boarding room. There he finds In-sung hunched over, lost in melancholy. And amid to offer comfort, Jae-seop reveals that he, too, has failed to pass the entrance examination for the police academy. Overwhelmed by emotions, In-sung tearfully confides in Jae-seop, sharing that his sadness stems not only from the exam failure but also from the recent breakup with his girlfriend, So-ra. In-sung's string of misfortunes continued unabated. Upon returning to his room, he discovered his belongings strewn across the corridor, a clear sign that he had been evicted due to 2 months' worth of unpaid rent. Confusion and destitution engulfed him, leaving him with no choice but to seek refuge at the convenience store where he worked, finding solace in sleeping there. However, his respite was shattered when his boss delivered a painful kick to his leg the following morning, rudely awakening him. To add insult to injury, his boss promptly fired him, withholding not only his wages but any semblance of compassion. Later that afternoon, In-sung met up with Jae-seop to share his tale of woe. Seeking a glimmer of hope, he perused job advertisements on his cell phone. Serendipitously, he stumbled upon a position offering decent pay, requiring only 3 days and 2 nights of work. Overwhelmed with joy, he let out a triumphant scream and wasted no time in applying for the job. Little did In-sung know that the job he was pursuing was for a clinical trial called Experiment Full of Life, testing a new pharmaceutical drug. As pharmaceutical companies sought willing participants to gauge the drug's effects, In-sung found himself among a multitude of applicants vying for the opportunity. At the hospital, In-sung underwent a rigorous selection process, including weight measurements and blood tests. After spending 3 days confined within the hospital's walls, where his instructions were simply to sit, eat, take medication, and remain silent, In-sung, along with the other applicants, was finally released. Not only did they receive their wages, but they were also compensated for their time. However, as In-sung stood outside the hospital, an unexpected wave of dizziness washed over him, forcing him to find solace in a nearby seat. Removing his glasses, he caught a fleeting glimpse of a brief blue flash in his vision. After a while, his discomfort subsided and the headache dissipated. Although a sense of suspicion lingered, he chose to ignore it and swiftly departed from the hospital. In his quest for closure, In-sung visited So-ra, although he remained silent in her presence. Leaving her behind, he rent his vows with Jae-seop at a restaurant to discuss the enigmatic circumstances surrounding their breakup. Jae-seop harbored doubts that So-ra may have grown close to a police officer named Gum-moo. The night drew to a close as In-sung returned to his boarding room, settling his overdue rent with a mix of relief and contentment, grateful for the chance to reclaim his old sanctuary. Yet, amidst his newfound comfort, a wave of sorrow crashed upon In-sung's heart, reminding him of the painful reason behind So-ra's departure. As night descended, In-sung succumbed to a fitful slumber, only to be abruptly awakened by an overwhelming fever. The intensity of his fever caused him to shiver uncontrollably beneath the confines of his blanket. Seeking respite, he ventured to the pharmacy the following day in search of a fever-relieving remedy. However, as In-sung made his way home, an extraordinary bout of dizziness once again seized him, reminiscent of the sensations he experienced upon leaving the hospital. The debilitating headache rendered him unable to focus, to the point where a close encounter with a speeding car became imminent. Yet, in a remarkable turn of events, a flash of blue light filled his eyes, triggering an instinctive reaction that propelled him to effortlessly leap over the car's roof, narrowly avoiding a calamitous collision. Upon returning to his room, a sudden blurriness clouded In-sung's vision. It was then that he removed his glasses and realized, to his astonishment, that he could see with crystal clarity even without them. In the afternoon, In-sung made his way to the hospital for a checkup, hoping to find answers. However, the doctor assured him that he was in good health, advising him to return only if he experienced further discomfort or pain. After leaving the hospital, In-sung reunited with Ji-seub, and the duo indulged in a game of billiards. Despite In-sung's lack of experience in the game, he showcased an uncanny proficiency that left the onlookers astounded by his skills. One fateful day, as So-rae prepared to leave her boarding room, she noticed a wrapped parcel of food hanging from her door. Despite her haste, she failed to pay it much heed, occupied by an unexpected job opportunity that demanded her immediate attention. Just as she set off, she crossed paths with Gung-moo, who happened to be on patrol. Gung-moo extended an offer to give So-rae a ride, and without much contemplation, she accepted, mounting the motorbike. From a distance, In-sung witnessed the unfolding scene, his heart ablaze with jealousy. Driven by a surge of emotions, he chased after So-rae, and miraculously, his speed escalated exponentially, allowing him to effortlessly leap over a mound of garbage without faltering. He continued his pursuit until he reached the roadside, where he unleashed an angry shout that compelled So-rae to turn her gaze in his direction. However, in his distracted state, In-sung inadvertently collided with an iron pole. Concerned for In-sung's well-being, So-rae implored Gung-moo to halt the motorbike, intending to check on him. As they gathered on the roadside, a heated altercation ensued, witnessed by both Gung-moo and passers-by. In-sung vehemently accused So-rae of engaging in an affair with Gung-moo, while So-rae vehemently denied the allegations. She delivered a swift kick to In-sung before walking away, leaving him behind in a tempest of emotions. In the aftermath of the incident, In-sung musters the courage to return to the mini-market, where he once toiled, determined to collect the wages owed to him by his stubborn boss. An intense argument ensues as his boss adamantly refuses to pay up. However, just as the situation seems hopeless, a police officer intervenes, coming to In-sung's aid and ensuring he receives his rightful wages. Empowered by this newfound victory, In-sung decides to embark on a personal transformation. He visits a salon, where he revamps his haircut, and explores a boutique, embracing a new sense of style. As word spreads of his handsome appearance, many girls find themselves captivated by his transformed image. While crossing a bridge, In-sung overhears the distressing sounds of a woman being harassed by a group of men beneath its shadow. Without hesitation, he leaps off the bridge, executing a flawless landing before the startled men. Conflict becomes inevitable, but now In-sung possesses formidable martial arts skills. Despite being outnumbered, he bravely fights back, subduing the men until they eventually retreat. The woman he rescued, named Tae-yi, becomes enchanted by In-sung's bravery and profusely thanks him for saving her from harm. The next day, while on campus, In-sung crosses paths with both Ji-seub and Tae-yi. To his surprise, Ji-seub harbors feelings for Tae-yi, who happens to be the most beautiful girl on campus and the daughter of a wealthy man. In gratitude for In-sung's heroism, Tae-yi treats him and Ji-seub to a restaurant outing. From there, the three of them begin spending more time together, fostering a growing camaraderie. As night falls, In-sung escorts Tae-yi home, and in a moment of vulnerability, she confesses her feelings for him. Rather than offering an immediate response, In-sung merely smiles, leaving her with a glimmer of hope. One day, while In-sung and Tae-yi are at a convenience store, they unexpectedly encounter So-rae. Still harboring resentment towards her, In-sung decides to retaliate by feigning an intimate display with Tae-yi. Unable to bear witness to his actions, So-rae departs from the store after completing her shopping. She has yet to divulge to In-sung the true reasons behind their separation, the burden of funding her own education through odd jobs, which resulted in a severe decline in her academic performance. Upon arriving at her apartment, So-rae is taken aback when she discovers Gung-moo secretly leaving food on her doorknob. She had believed it was In-sung who had been providing her with sustenance. In truth, Gung-moo has harbored affection for So-rae for quite some time, silently watching over her even during her relationship with In-sung. However, he chose to remain silent, respecting her commitment to In-sung at the time. As Sora and In-sung immerse themselves in their blossoming romance, Gum-mo consciously distances himself from the couple, focusing his energy on preparing for the police academy exams. Through arduous efforts and unwavering determination, he eventually manages to pass the rigorous test, marking a significant achievement in his journey. Meanwhile, In-sung receives a phone call from his mother, who delivers disheartening news about their family's dire financial situation. She implores In-sung to send money, adding to the weight of responsibility he feels towards supporting his parents. The following day, while dining on campus, In-sung's mind drifts into daydreams, fixated on finding ways to generate income to aid his family. Suddenly, an advertisement for a paid quiz competition show flickers across the television screen, instantly